welcome back to the Daily News Network. It's time for Finding Your Frequency. I'm Brian Sexton, and today I have Valerie Saunders joining us. She's with the National Association of Mortgage Brokers, but as a big mouth, as a voice myself, it sounds as if what you do is act as a voice for mortgage brokers.
Yes, absolutely. Thanks for having me on your show. Yes, I have, being the owner of a mortgage broker business, I also own a title insurance company. I have found that expressing my opinion in the profession that I have chosen is the best way to get things accomplished, whether they are here in Florida, in Tallahassee, or in Washington, D.C.
What are the biggest challenges that you are advocating for on behalf of the mortgage brokers these days? And obviously, the real estate world has been topsy-turvy. Interest rates have been interesting. Where do you find yourself spending most of your time at this juncture of 2025?
Sure. So our number one topic is trigger leads, which if you're not familiar with a trigger lead, if you've ever applied for a mortgage loan, and they're not subject just to mortgage, but of course, being National Association of Mortgage Brokers, that's what we're focused on. But if you've ever applied for car insurance or life insurance, and shortly thereafter, you start getting phone calls and emails and text messages because your credit has been pulled. Those are trigger leads. So the 3 credit reporting agencies receive credit inquiries. They then take that information and they sell it to companies in the form of live leads. And in this current rate environment, the Fed is talking a lot about potentially lowering the rate. I believe they're meeting today, but it's projected to probably not start lowering to September. So what we're trying to do is head off even a wider swath of people being subjected to trigger leads, which is where your information that you are interested in obtaining a mortgage is being sold to third parties who are then going to contact you to make another potential offer. Even though you've already met with me, you may have completed an application, you may have completed your disclosures, and obviously you've already authorized me to pull your credit report because that is the trigger to the credit reporting agencies. Hey, somebody wants to get a loan. We're going to sell that to potential buyers.
So we talk in the cybersecurity world all the time about the privacy issues and the information issues. Are you finding that that's something that your clients, that your prospective buyers are very sensitive to, and that's why it's such a big issue with you?
Yes, absolutely. There's all kinds of data breaches that are happening, whether it's, credit cards or banking institutions. And so the safety and security of your social security number, your personal financial information is, paramount to just feeling secure in this cyber environment. And so what our association has been actively advocating for, there are 2 bills. One is in the House, one is in the Senate, HR 2808 and Senate Bill 1467, that are up for passage so that this legislation can be enacted. And what it would do is it would limit individuals from being able to contact a consumer without the consumer's express intent or express consideration for them to contact them if they already have a pre-existing relationship. So if you have your checking account with me, I can contact you. If I'm the servicer of your loan, I can contact you. If I originated your loan as a mortgage broker, I can contact you. But if I'm not one of these entities, then you have to opt in to be able to receive information from me on other potential offers of products. And the Senate has already passed their bill. The House, it is currently on calendar to be heard the week of June 23rd. So we're hoping that it passes the House. Then those two bills will come into reconciliation so that they're both identical, because there is some slight variations between the two. And then once that's completed, go off to President Trump for signature. And then we'll all begin the process of what needs to be done to comply with the new rule.
So you're representing mortgage brokers, but you're also representing their clients. And that's an interesting dynamic, because you're representing the consumer, and obviously they need it. You obviously got into real estate because of a passion for that. How is essentially being a lobbyist? How has that impacted your life?
So back in 2008, in the mortgage meltdown, I became president of the Florida Association of Mortgage Professionals. And as a result of that turbulent time in our nation's history and our state's history, obviously, I was tasked with taking these new federal rules and regulations that were coming into place and making sure they were implemented into our state lending laws, but so that they protected the existing loan originators who and mortgage brokers who were and lenders who are doing business, but also still protected consumers. So I did a lot of advocating on behalf of Florida's consumers and Florida's loan originators and mortgage broker and mortgage lender businesses from 2008 to 2011. And then in 2011, I took the natural progression to start becoming more actively involved in the National Association of Mortgage Brokers. And I became part of their board of directors and their government affairs chair, and just started advocating more on a national level. So it, didn't necessarily start out as a passion, but once you kind of see the process and see how a small group of people can really effectuate change, it kind of gets into your bloodstream, and you kind of continue on. And so, fast forward 17 years later, I am in a very it's a comfortable place to be, to advocate on behalf of my industry, but also the people that are our clients, the nation's consumers. So.
I think our viewers have gotten a civics lesson today, Valerie. Thank you very much for that. Hey, a couple of quick questions about the frequency in your life and where you're at. Everybody has a life-defining moment. Most have more than just one. How about one of yours? Was it perhaps in 2008?
Definitely 2008, because prior to that, I really did not have a extreme desire to do lobbying or advocating from a government perspective. It just wasn't something that I was interested in at all. But when you're forced to be interested in it, and then you start seeing the process and you see all of the hard work that you're putting into it finally coming to fruition, then you kind of, it gets into your bloodstream, as I said before. So now I've developed a passion for the advocacy part. So definitely 2008 was a terrible year for me financially and for my businesses, but it really was a pivotal point for me in what I do in the future because of what I was forced to be part of.
And listen, my second question is about the obstacles that all successful people have to identify and overcome. Was 2008 that for you as well?
Absolutely. I mean, it was in January 2008, it was as if a giant faucet turned off on my income. I lost about 75% of my income, what felt like literally overnight. And so I had to figure out a way how to keep my businesses going, still being able to help support my family along with my husband. We have 2 children, and but still being able to do the things that I was passionate about, which is association work, volunteerism, and continuing that on. And luckily, I did find a path. I'm a very good multitasker. So, I have my title company, I have my mortgage broker business, and then I also have this role as chief executive strategist with the National Association of Mortgage Brokers. So I figured out a way to do all three. I really just don't like to say no. If there's something I want to do, I'm going to do it.
Listen, I think you just answered my third question, but I'll ask you anyway. A piece of advice for somebody who's looking to create their own career, their own path, that perhaps you could share based on yours.
Yeah, I would say don't give up. If you have a passion for something, nothing is easy. And really, the trials and tribulations that you go through in growing your business and developing it and seeing it start from nothing to, where you are, hopefully fast forward 20 years later, there really is no greater sense of gratification to see your hard work come in it, to be able to support yourself, your family, and be able to accomplish your goals, whatever those may be.
Valerie Saunders from the National Association of Mortgage Brokers. Thanks so much for taking some time to join us today on Finding Your Frequency. We hope you'll come back.
Thank you. Happy to.
And that'll do it. We'll see you next time right here on the Daily News Network.